I've hit the button.
Okay.
We are
so
now
you're
recording.
Now recording.
So
and
yeah.
Not streaming.
And not streaming. But welcome back anyways.
Hello.
We've missed you all. Sorry we died.
Yeah, we lived technically.
Yes.
We survived and then we lived.
Yeah.
So Paige got COVID, and then I got COVID, unrelated.
Yes.
So nothing happened.
It's just like disclaimer, like, we've been doing everything right. You've probably heard us bitch about the COVID thing in multiple episodes. So like, don't be like, typical millennials out doing shit. We did nothing.
Yeah, no, we went nowhere. We wore masks when we did go somewhere. Like, it's that contagious and that problematic. So do what you can, but do what you can. Like, don't just be like, it doesn't matter, or I'm gonna catch it anyway, or whatever it is. Like, just do your thing. Especially because like I had to call people where I didn't realize it was COVID, and I was around people, and we had masks on the entire time.
Yep.
But like, I don't want to think about what happened if I hadn't been wearing a mask the entire time.
Oh, right.
You know, like,
it is almost embarrassing. It's like getting an STD and then calling people and being like, you might have to get yourself checked out. You're like, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, like, take precautions, like, regardless. Just, you know.
Also,
so that's our COVID PSA to start.
I have an add-on PSA that many of you probably also have had it because it's just exploding right now. But just because you had it and you have antibodies for the next 3 months doesn't mean you should like not take it seriously, because even if you've had it and you won't get reinfected, there's still the chance you could grab the virus and pass it on to other people. So just keep that in mind. You still got to be careful.
Also, there's absolutely no guarantee that you won't get it twice.
Also true.
It's 100% possible. It's very, very unlikely, but 100% possible.
Yep.
So just keep acting like there's a pandemic going on, and that would be great.
Yes, please.
Because there is a pandemic going on.
Oh, man. But we're so excited to finally be back with a seasonally appropriate topic today. Talking about Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, both the Netflix show and the book.
Yes, which is kind of a follow-up to our Nick and Norah's Infinite Playlist episode, which was like our third episode we ever did, because this is written by the same people and came out after.
Yes.
So it's like a spiritual sequel kind of thing.
Yeah, which I was very excited for because I had a lot of fun when we did that episode and like reading that book and discovering just like how good they were at like teaming up to write things.
Yeah, they matched each other's, like, you forget it's written by two different people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it just feels like the same person writing, like, two voices. Like, their matchup is very, very well done.
Uh-huh.
So, and then, the Netflix show came out just November 10th.
Yeah. Which...
and I watched it immediately.
I thought it was weird that it came out, like, early November. I feel like Netflix releases its Christmas stuff really early.
I think that they drop the stuff that the Christmas stuff they don't really care about too much early, and then drop the stuff they care about more closer to Christmas.
Yeah.
Like throwaways to get people excited, rather than like
easing them into the season.
Yeah, because like Holiday released that early too, which
was not a good movie. Yeah. No, I heard horrible things about that.
I watched it. It was not a good movie.
Oh man. Fuck Holiday then.
Yeah. But.
Had you read this book before? Because I know you kind of knew about them. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I had read it before, but it had been a long, long time. And fun fact, I actually, before we decided to do this episode, I bought the book, had started it again, and then stopped reading it, and then had to go back and restart it, and finish it for this. But I had read it before, way back when I was like 18 or something.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, I'm not... It's this particular, like, Dash and Lily is difficult for me. Okay, so let's start with the synopsis.
I was just about to be like, we gotta do that real quick.
Yeah. So, Dash and Lily is about these two people, one of who love Christmas, one of who's hate Christmas, and Lily leaves a book at this, is it Strand or Stand?
It's the Strand.
The Strand, yeah. It's a very famous bookstore, so I should know what it's called. Leaves a book of dares written by her brother to help her find someone to hang out with over Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Dash finds this book, starts doing the dares, and they basically start communicating back and forth via dares and this notebook. And then shenanigans ensue.
Yep.
is the general gist of this book.
And they've got their own shit going on with their own families and like personal teenage dramas and shit like that.
Yeah. So I I have a strong love in Nick and Norah,
Hmm.
both the movie and the book.
And I can agree with it. I definitely very much enjoyed them.
Yes, I am not nearly as attached or into Dash and Lily as I am in Nick and Norah.
I get that. I get that. I took our advice that we gave the last time we did this and watched the show first and then read the book, which went very
Okay.
well because I liked the book better than the show. So I was like, if I'd read the book first, I probably would not have enjoyed the show as much. So it was like
Okay.
a generally pleasant experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. I did watch the show before I reread the book, and I didn't remember too much of the book.
Hmm.
And I think that the show is just genuinely nice and happy, and
Yeah, it's very
there's
light and
some
campy.
yeah, and there's some low points as there is in every story, but it's not like a extreme low, which is kind of like a Christmas low.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I just and part of it I think is because I don't like Dash and Lily as people as much as I like Nick and
Is
Nora
that
as
what
people.
it is? Like just
Mhm.
on their own, there was something about them that I was like, I didn't have that strong feeling of rooting for them. I just kind of felt like along for
Yeah.
the ride.
Yeah. I think part of that is because I don't buy the romance between them kind of like I buy with Nick and Nora,
Yeah,
whereas they almost seem like they'd work better as friends, like really good, nice friends
right.
rather than like romantic partners.
I think I only really started getting into it when they finally met, at least in the books, because there's like barely any content of them actually being physically together in the show. There's like
Yeah.
a decent chunk that they cut out from the books where they're like baking together or like accidentally getting locked into the basement of the Strand. And the content when they were like finally kind of like courting each other in person, I was like, "Oh, I like this. I would want more of this."
Yeah, it is. It's very cute. I think that my big thing is that this was my major thing as I was reading I think more than watching,
Hmm.
but also watching was that the obstacles thrown in their way feels more contrived.
Yeah.
Cuz Nick and Nora you're dealing with exes, right? You're not dealing with a random Edgar guy from school that you like to as a jerk
Who
and just
just you
randomly
run
pops
into
up.
in a city in of 8 million people.
Yeah, and then it's just and then especially in the book where at least in the movie he's got an elongated thing, so he
Right.
feels more like a problem or like a threat or like an obstacle because he's there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a stalker. He's going through her Instagram to find out what dog park she goes to so that he can go stand there randomly, which was the weirdest moment in the entire show.
Hmm.
But he's like more of a thing, whereas in the book he's like he shows up once she decides she's gonna have some danger for a little bit. It's it's really weird
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. It feels like the
Um,
build up to danger is weird too. Like in the show when she gets to the point where she's like crazy drunk having a crazy time, I find that more believable in the show.
I
I'm
got
like
it.
there was like
Yeah.
there was more better incline into that breakdown. It felt very instant in the book. I was like, "Whoa." Having a
Yeah,
hard
no,
time here.
like I was waiting because I had watched the show and I was waiting. It was like, did they make up Edgar for the show and I don't remember him or like
Hmm.
and and um
Was his name Edgar in the show? Did they change his?
yes,
Oh, it was okay.
yeah, no, it was Edgar in both.
Okay.
It was the same name. Uh, so but I was reading through the book and I was like, did they make up Edgar for the show? And I just don't remember because I he hasn't appeared yet, and then
Hmm.
he just suddenly appeared and was there for like 3 chapters and then
Yeah,
was gone. And I was kind of like, okay,
it was very weird.
what was the point of that?
Yep.
And I think it's hard because I think that if I was judging, and this is just the problem of just being human, I feel like if I was judging Dash and Lily on their own merits, it would be easier for me to like it and enjoy it. Not that I didn't like it and enjoy it, but it would
Yeah.
be easier for me to forgive its faults if I wasn't comparing it to Nick and Nora, which is really hard to do.
Yeah. Right. I
You know.
mean, much like our episode, that book is like almost a spiritual successor to that. It's like whenever they write together, that's their whole gimmick is like them each writing from the other person's point of view and having a little romance story go on. So it's kind of like
Right.
a universe of this kind of thing.
And I think that okay, so Nick and Norah are definitely hipstery.
Yeah.
They're definitely like kind of pretentious. They're definitely like they have like these flaws, but I like them better. I can forgive their flaws more. I enjoy their flaws more. They work together better
Hmm.
together. Dash and Lily, I don't like them as much,
No.
and so it's harder to forgive because they have similar faults. They're, you know, know-it-alls and pretentious and kind of hipstery, and they have kind of like the same. Not that being a hipster is inherently a flaw, just
Right.
you know what I mean. The judgy, the stereotypical judgy aspect that we typically
Right.
associate with
Yeah,
hipsters.
exactly.
They have those flaws too, but for some reason I don't know if it's because it comes across stronger or because they don't quite smooth out as much as the book goes on, or what it is, but I don't forgive them as much.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. Like it was a little easier to like Dash, I think, in the book than the show. In the show, I found him totally insufferable. I was like, I hate you. You annoy me. You remind me of several boys I knew in high school, and I want to barf. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I feel like when two people come together with those flaws, sometimes like you see them grow a little bit, and I feel like Dash and
Yeah.
Lily didn't really do a lot of growing, except for maybe Lily trying to like get out of her shell a little bit.
Yeah, and like in Nick and Nora, you had like Nora dealing with whether or not she was going to go to school and kind of dealing, and it was really about them overcoming their exes and their past, right? There was a
Right.
core background story of them growing apart from their exes and kind of like reclaiming themselves and moving on to new relationships
Yeah.
and recognizing what was negative and toxic about their previous relationships.
Right.
And I think that aspect is missing from Dash and Lily, so it just becomes this cute kind of fluff romance, and I'm
Mhm.
missing because I don't like the characters enough. I'm missing kind of the growth.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Especially because like
Okay.
Dash does have like an arc with his ex, but like he like goes and kind of hooks up with her, and then it's like, nope, we're supposed to just be friends, and then that's the end of it. And I was like, did we really unpack that properly? I don't.
Yeah, I mean, in the show, I feel like they unpacked it a little bit more, but they also added more depth to their relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, it's kind of clear that their relationship was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Convenient,
Yeah.
where it was more a relationship of convenience really than actual like or passion or
Right. Like it was just easy to be
anything.
together, so they were together, and
Yeah,
that was the whole source of it.
which is kind of, I guess, the dangers of falling back into that,
Yeah.
the easy things rather than like the more difficult things.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah. One thing I did like that the show did was give us clarity on like the Fiji backstory. Like the book just ends and we're like, is she going to Fiji or not? Like
That's true. There are sequels though. That might be why.
I looked up like brief synopsis of these and like I don't know if maybe the beginning of the book does touch upon it, but it sounds like they don't go to Fiji.
Or at least she doesn't go to Fiji.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So there's the 12 dares of day. It's either 12 dares or 12 days of Dash and Lily,
Yeah, I don't remember. The third one's Mind
and
the
then
Gap.
Mind the Gap, Dash and Lily, and then there's a new one that like just came out.
I think Mind the Gap's the new one that just came out. I think there's only 3.
But then the second one must be the
The 12 one? Yeah, yeah.
yeah, the 12. Okay. As usual, guys, we're very prepared.
The only reason the Mind the Gap one sticks out in my head is when I looked it up, apparently it came out on my birthday, and I was like, huh, weird.
Um, no, Mind the Gap must be the second one then.
No, I think it
I'm
came
gonna go
out
to the
this
bottom
year.
of this.
I don't know.
I'm gonna
Either
go to the bottom
way,
of this.
I liked how but regardless of like not tying up the Fiji storyline, I actually really liked the way the first book ended with the kind of like mystery of like where they'll go from there. And I actually don't feel interested in reading the sequel. So I'm like, I don't want to see this relationship play out. I just like your little
Yeah.
story that you had here in this first book.
Okay, you're right. Mind the Gap is the newest one that
Okay,
came out, and then the 12 Days of Dash and Lily is the second one.
gotcha.
Okay, I had to clarify that, you guys. I was very confused. The reason why I thought it was because Mind the Gap is the excerpt that comes after Dash and Lily's Book of Dares, so I assumed that it was the second one, not the
Oh,
third
yeah,
one.
that confused me too because I was like, "Oh, Mind the Gap, the second one," and then when I Googled it, I was like, "No? What?"
That seems like poor planning on the part of
I don't know.
the book designers. The other thing I think the show did better than the book was secondary characters. Like Langston, I enjoy him so much better in the show than
Yeah.
I do in the book. He has his moments in the book, like I don't want to discount him completely in the book. He has his moments. Like one of my favorite moments is in the book when she comes home and Lily tells a lie and then the grandpa goes to confirm it
Mhm.
and she gives him like a facial signal to agree with what grandpa just said and he
Yep.
goes, "Oh yeah, of course," and immediately like covers her.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I was just gonna when you were talking about liking him more in the show, I was gonna bring that moment up and be like, "That was the one
Yeah.
thing that I was like, yes, this is great."
Yeah. No, like that moment was really really great, but in general, I think the show, I think I liked the side characters better
And we get to see more
than
play out with him dealing with his romantic hang-ups with his boyfriend and whatnot, which I
yes.
liked.
Yes. And him and Benny are just really fun to watch and
Yes.
enjoyable.
They had a lot of they had good chemistry. They did a good
Yes,
job with the casting.
I agree. So, as usual, the representation is pretty good in
Yeah. I like
Disney's
Boomer
Island.
better in the books though. Like he entertains me so much.
I liked him. I feel like they're such different characters that I had to like them on different merits.
That is a fair point. Yeah, cuz they're like their personalities are like totally opposite from show to book.
Yeah, they are not the same people
Mm-mm.
at all. So, same thing I feel like with Sophia
Oh
was a
yeah.
completely different
That was
person
I was
in the
going to
book
bring
versus
up
the
I
show.
feel like the show gave the same treatment to her a little bit as like the Nick and Norah movie did to
Trish.
Nick's ex. Yes, to Trish because I
Correct.
like her better in the book and I feel like when she just straight up is like, "Yeah, I fell in love with a guy as soon as I got over to Spain. This is what happened to me." And they kind of seem to be like on equal footing of understanding that their relationship was all about convenience, but then like in the show
Yes.
she just like wants him back and I was like, I don't like that."
I'm like, first of all, why?
Yeah.
Um, why? But it's also I feel like she's more kind of ruder and conniving and kind of not conniving, but more like there's something about her in the show.
A little fake.
Yeah, maybe like there's some sort of aspect or trait that they gave her that I'm not a huge fan of. I'm trying to figure out how to articulate it. Whereas in the book, I feel like you said, she's more honest and
Yeah.
real and kind of like. And when she says the whole thing is like, "Oh, you found the girl in your head,"
Yeah.
in the book, it comes across a lot gentler and less dickish than it does in the show, where she's very
Yeah.
clearly critiquing him and judging him. In the book, she's like, "Yeah, you found the girl in your head. It happens. Like, be careful."
She's
And in
like
the
it's like
show,
we all do it kind of thing.
yeah, yeah. In the show, it's very much like this is a personal you problem.
Mhm.
That's, you know, you're gonna. So I was just, I don't know,
Yeah, I agree with that.
but I think you're right. I think they Trishified her
They
a little
did.
bit.
They did. Also have a bone to pick with media's obsession of making it look like teenagers are constantly getting drunk and having ragers because the party part
In
in
the
the
book,
book is like a legit teenager party, like a 16-year-olds where they're serving platters of Mountain Dew and the parents are home. But then in the fucking show, it's like this gossip girl rager with everyone wearing designer clothes, and you're like, no, this is
no,
not
I know.
real life.
I know. And even like it's very clear I feel like that they go to like a rich kid school,
Yeah,
but like at the same time and Priya is an interesting character.
yeah,
I feel like book versus show.
yeah,
They're very different. They're very different, but I similar at the same time.
yeah.
But
I can
the
see what you're
reason
saying.
the reason why I think I'm interested in Priya is because of that moment at the show where she gives Lily that truth question and keeps like downgrading the like where have you had sex to like where have you hooked up with a guy to like where have you made out to Lily.
Yeah.
And I remember that moment and I was wondering how you interpreted it because I interpreted it as her being genuinely trying to help her out
I did too.
versus being her being cruel and just being like legitimately confused and just being like, okay, let's just keep going until we get to a point that like you know.
Right. I think she like she was trying to, like, be helpful, but at the same time, like, realized she was digging a hole, and she was like, "Oh god, what am I saying?" Like, that's what I did not seem to have cruel
Yeah.
intentions at all. It was like a,
No.
"Oh shit, I just fucked this moment up."
I don't think it was either. And I just was wondering if you also had that
Yeah,
kind of interpretation as you were watching.
right. Because she's not, like, laughing or anything. She looks, like, genuinely, like, she feels bad, like, "Oops, I did not mean to, like, make you have
Yeah.
this moment."
Yeah. And just I and Edgar's the worst in both, but I think he gets I think the show is weird to me because it's like they tried to humanize him more
Yeah,
and give him like more like redeemable qualities, quote unquote. And I was like, one, I don't see the purpose of this,
yeah.
but also like it made me confused as to what he was supposed to be do. Or was he supposed to be the dick asshole that we that we wanted her to end up with Dash, or was he supposed to be like the kind of nice guy that just doesn't fit her? Like I couldn't understand what he
I
was
don't
doing in the
know.
show.
I feel like he was supposed to be, like, the foil to Sophia, because like, so that gives Dash and Lily each, like, their own
Yeah.
third person in their pentagon of people. So yeah, because I feel like Sophia's presence is a little larger in the show too. Because there's like, will they, won't they get back together thing. So like maybe
Yeah.
that's why they increase his role. I feel like they did a good job casting wise. Like I could believe most of them were teenagers. That guy was obviously like 25.
Let's wonder how old he was.
Like I get in the
Uh,
book they describe how like muscly and nice looking he is, but I'm like, I feel like a 16-year-old being nice looking and muscly is very different from like a 25-year-old being muscly and nice looking.
all right, hold on. I want to actually know how old he is. 1991.
So he's
So he's 2 years older than us.
29.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So everybody else I bought enough, but like
Mhm.
I feel like Lily. I feel like the casting of Dash was pretty well done in terms of pretentiousness
Yep.
and buying his thing. But I'm not sure. Lily was 1994.
So
That's us.
yeah.
Well, you were born 1993, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
Okay. So I'm a 1994 baby.
Yep.
So
Oh
she's as
wow,
old
so
as
that puts
me.
her up there. Wow, she looks young.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't enjoy it as much. But
Yeah.
again, I feel like that came from partially a comparison place rather than just a solely this is not as good.
I think it's a little bit of both. Like if I had to sum it up, when I read Nick and Norah, I stayed up until 1 in the morning and read the whole thing in one sitting because I was having a blast. This
Yeah,
took me 2 weeks to read because I was like, "Oh, I got to read it for the podcast," and I never wanted to go back to it.
that's always a sign for sure. I had a similar experience where I didn't read it and then binged it all in one day,
Mhm.
and then you bailed on me, and then I was like, oh okay, never mind.
Well, coronavirus happened.
No, this was like last Tuesday. I
Oh,
read the
that's
entire
when
thing in one.
the Menzies struck instead. my my body for like 3 weeks has just been like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Yeah, no, she's having a rough time, guys.
It's gone great.
Uh, I tease when I say she bailed on me. Yeah, so I just ended up binge reading it all in one day, not because I was enjoying it, but because I ran
Mm,
out of time, basically.
yeah.
So, but the show, I did genuinely, I watched it in like over the course of a couple days. I
Yeah, I did
genuinely
too.
enjoyed it. I would recommend the show for sure if you're just looking for something kind of light and campy and you're just kind of looking for something to enjoy Christmassy.
Yeah. And compared
I would
to
definitely recommend the
the
show.
rest of Netflix's Christmas lineup, I'd say it's one of the better things out there because like
Yes.
Christmas night or whatever, the princess Christmas switch, whatever the
Switch?
fuck that
Yes.
is, where now there's 3 Vanessa Hudgens. I can't.
Ugh, no. Yeah. So I would feel like if you're looking for something nice and Christmassy that you can watch, I would definitely recommend Dash and Lily.
Yep.
The book, uh, maybe
Yeah, I don't know.
depends on you as a person. I wouldn't blanket recommendation it as
Yeah.
opposed to.
It's still a quick read. It's not like your
Mhm.
average novel length, but it is longer than Nick and Norah. So if you're looking for like a one sitting binge, I don't think, unless you like really were into it. But
Yeah, and I like the premise of it a lot. The different dares going back and forth, the different like
yeah,
connecting with a bunch of people. I kind of like that it's all over the city and you're involving a bunch of people because you have to involve people who are willing to pass a notebook back and forth.
right.
Like, I definitely, like, I think the premise is really creative and well done.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
just don't think that the execution is as flawless as Nick and Norah.
Agreed. Oh, that was another thing I wanted to give to the show was that I liked that they shifted the timeline up because it felt more Christmassy versus a lot of the book
Yes.
happens post Christmas. So I was like, I'm not feeling the Christmas cheer as much with this one.
Yeah. The show is definitely distinctly a Christmas show.
Yep.
Like, that's the market it's trying to hit for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to be a short episode.
It's only 25 minutes have gone by, so
So maybe.
yeah, I didn't know. We can give a quick update. We're probably gonna be flying by the seat of our pants for the next couple weeks until after the new year, and then we have some fun changes coming.
So, yeah, so we will have an episode out next Tuesday to be determined.
I think we picked something out at some point, but I don't remember what it is.
Well, I think it was Cyberpunk. No, it was canceled. Originally, we canceled it.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rewind, I lied.
Rewind as in we picked something else?
No, I was me just making a dumb joke.
Okay, all right. Okay, yeah. So, we'll have an episode coming on the 29th. We have no idea on what yet. We will start back up in January with recorded episodes. We will no longer be live streaming our actual podcast episodes.
Correcto.
And then we will also possibly starting in January with zombies because we missed zombies. We were going to do a zombies theme for a couple weeks in December.
That's right.
So probably starting up January with zombies.
Yeah.
And then we will be doing Pixel Perfect Plays, which is basically us streaming video games and kind of doing like episodes on those video games and just kind of streaming.
Yeah.
Hanging out.
Which we don't have a set schedule for that yet, so it'll probably be like an as we can thing. So definitely follow us on Twitter and Instagram because we'll announce it that day or the day before and be like, hey, catch our stream. I know I just got Hollow Knight on my computer, so I definitely would love to replay that. And then
she's much better at it, so it'd be more fun to watch her play than watch me play.
I can't remember, you had a game in mind that you wanted to stream, and I don't remember what it was.
I really want to do Edith Finch.
That's right. That's right. That would be a really fun one to do. So
yeah. So yeah. So we're gonna do that. So keep follow us on subscribe to us on YouTube too.
Yes, everything is there.
Yeah. Everything will be uploaded to YouTube. So definitely subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that you have access to all of the things.
All of the things. All the handy dandy things. Yeah. We'll probably do full stream VODs once those streams go up because we'll probably only do a couple hours. No, we're not like those crazy people who do it for 8 hours straight. I don't know how they do that.
They don't have actual like regular jobs. That's how they do that.
Well,
is they literally their job is just to
stream. I hate them then. Oh man. So, but yeah, thanks for sticking with us, guys, while we kind of flounder around for the past month.
Yeah, and sorry for this one being kind of a shorter episode. It's kind of just like a result of the last month being, I think, a little crazy.
It's yeah, we're slowly ending 2020 with a bang.
Yes. So, but definitely, as always, like add us with all of your thoughts, and especially on Dash and Lily. Like, we're curious to see if you watched it or read it and what you think.
Yeah, and if you think you were totally wrong, I'll love to hear it. I love being disagreed with.
It's true.
It's true.
So,
all right, we'll catch you guys all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.